Hello and welcome to our second episode of The Closed Pyramid, a YouTube series here on Stateside Soccer Show, where we talk all things the lower leagues in the U.S. closed soccer pyramid. So that is how we came up with the name, and we are going to be recapping the USL matches and the NISA matches that just took place last weekend and midweek here as we look ahead to the games that are tonight, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday, and some of the midweek games. I think this show is going to be a little smoother this week. A lot more teams to talk about, a lot more preparation for schedule, so I don't have to share my screen. I made a little chart. So I'm feeling really good about this episode in particular. And there's something I want to talk about too once we get to it in relations to NISA. So, but first, we're going to go ahead and look at the USL matches that just took place. So we're going to start with USL Championship. We'll look at USL League One, and then we'll move over to NISA. So let's go ahead and get started on some of these matches that took place over the weekend. We'll start with Indy 11 versus Tulsa. And Tulsa took the lead 60 minutes in with a wide open header. And it's a great ball, but there's like nobody marking 2 to 3 Tulsa players in the middle of the box. Then there's a clear penalty as an Indy 11 player takes out a Tulsa player on the edge of the box. Doesn't get any of the ball at all. And Rivas converts it to make it 2-0. And then we have 88th minute, Indy whips in the ball. Handball, it whips in the box, whips the ball into the box. Handball called on Tulsa. Then there's a penalty, but it is hit off the crossbar. And that match finishes 2-0 to Indy 11, which is a great start for 2-0, sorry, Tulsa. Why did I say Indy 11? Just when I said this was going to be a little smoother of an episode. But, yeah, so that finishes 2-0. Rivas, Joaquin Rivas with both of the goals there for the for FC Tulsa. Then we have Louisville versus Birmingham Legion. That game finishes 1-1. 3-minute in, header goal for Louisville. That goal is going to be converted by Patrick McMahon. Then there's a penalty 60 minutes in, converted by Neko Brett. And what was interesting about this is that it was, I thought it was one very minimal contact. But, there was a trailing leg there, I guess. But Birmingham's giving the penalty. It's converted in the 60th minute. Goalkeeper initially saves it, but was off the line, so it's retaken. And the goal scorer goes the same way each time. The commentators were kind of talking about that, like which way, once it's saved initially, do you try to go the other way, or stuff like that. And I've always wondered that too. I think you just have to be confident in your approach and go with your gut. In the moment, do I go with the same shot or do I not? And I think in this case, he felt pretty good about it. And he goes ahead and converts it. And that game finishes 1-1, with that being the latest of the actions in that match. Not much else to talk about in that one at all. So both of those were on Saturday, May 8th. We talked about the Friday games on last Saturday. Then we have Hartford Athletic versus Miami FC. This one's in Miami, and we have a great goal 59 minutes in by Hartford. That goal is going to be converted by Tabro Teka, if I said that right, assisted by Daniel Barrera. But that goal, just a really good. Tidy finish in the box, and there's a pretty good build-up to it as well. But that's how the game finishes, 1-0 here for that. And Miami had so many chances throughout the course of this game and could not convert any single one of them. So not a good home result for Miami. Great road result for Hartford Athletic. I really like Hartford Athletic because I think it's fun to have teams in cities that don't have teams. Like Hartford, Connecticut doesn't have a lot of teams professionally at all, really. They probably have some minor league baseball teams or so. So to have a Hartford Athletic team, and I like the name. The crest is great. The kits are good. Just all around really good there. Tampa Bay Rowdies versus the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I have a fun story about this. After we recorded the last episode, I went to Target, my local Target. So I'm in Maryland. I'm in northern Maryland, and I go into this Target, and I see a guy wearing Pittsburgh Steeler mask, Pittsburgh Penguin hat, and his jacket. He's got this very nice jacket, Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC, and I'm like, wow! I almost said something to the guy because I was like, you don't see a lot of USL stuff like going around, right? Like I never see that many people wearing like USL stuff, or even here with the Bobcats in Southern Maryland, and you have Christos. I don't see anybody wearing Christos stuff or FC Baltimore stuff when they were still FC Baltimore. And then we didn't really see anybody. You don't even see people wearing that much Baltimore Blast stuff around here. And they're probably the biggest name in soccer in the state due to the fact that indoor soccer was so huge here for a while. And, Kenny Cooper's father was manager here for a bit. So that is just a little fun story here, but it was not a fun match for Pittsburgh at all in this one. This game finishes 3-0 Rowdies. There's a goal 30 minutes in from Tampa Bay. I guess it's 31st minute, actually. Leo Fernandez is the assister here. Duba scores the goal to make it 1-0. Then in the 75th minute, there is a penalty to Tampa. Keeper just comes out, takes out a Tampa player. Good call. It's converted 2-0, and it's converted by Sebastian Guanzatti, make it 2-0. And then 84th minute, young kid, good player here. He was fun to watch. Jordan Adebayo Smith. And not just a fan of him because of his name, but this is a very easy goal for the third one, as Pittsburgh just the keeper did not have a good match here. He comes out to clear the ball at the top of the box, but at the same time, the defender is right in front of Jordan Adebayo Smith, and the defender is trying to clear it as well. So they're both going for the ball. They both whiff on it. It kind of bounces around a bit, and it finds Adebayo Smith. The keeper's out the box because he fell down from when he missed, and now Adebayo Smith has this wide open goal, and he converts it. 84th minute. Then at the end in stoppage time, they had all 10 of their players except for the goalkeeper, and I'm talking about Pittsburgh, up to take for a corner. It gets cleared. Adebayo Smith just hauls it from half field, and he tries to chip the keeper, and it goes over the bar, or else he could have had a brace, and it would have finished 4-0. So not a good game from Pittsburgh at all. So hopefully that guy with the jacket was not too down on this result. And hey, that's actually a team I think would be really cool for MLS. We're talking about expansion teams. We're kind of looking at some of these other cities, and people are like Las Vegas, and obviously we want Sacramento because that one was originally granted and had some issues there. But I think Pittsburgh would be really fun. They have a great crest. They upgraded their crest from when it was just like a clip art of a dog. And now they got this great circular crest. They got the colors of the crew as well. So maybe one of those teams could be with a, gold kit, they have a really nice black and, I think it was New Mexico that also has black and yellow kit that was really nice. But yeah, just not a good day for Pittsburgh, but I think it'd be fun to have them in MLS just because that's another team kind of in the north here where we could have another Eastern team. Because a lot of these teams that we're looking at expansion seem to be Western teams, and we got to kind of have a balance here. Okay, so then we had San Antonio FC versus Real Monarchs, SLC, Salt Lake City. That one finished. Here we go. So 1-0, 18 minutes in. Great finish by San Antonio, and that goal is converted by Marcus Epps. 31 minutes in, there is a red card for Nathan Fogacha. If I said that right, probably not. And I want to kind of complain a bit. I'm very thankful that the USL puts highlight videos on their YouTube channel that are 3 minutes, around 3 minutes each game. It's pretty good. But there needs to be some sort of what I'm trying to say is this red card does not appear at all. At all. And one thing that's cool about Marcus Epps scoring is that he is a former Philadelphia Union player from 2017 to 2019. He used to play also for Philadelphia Union too in that time. He's kind of bounced around from there. He went to Red Bulls 2, Memphis 901, Portland Timbers 2, San Antonio FC now. So he's kind of been a journeyman. But this red card, to my point, it does not appear at all. This next highlight is their 44th minute goal by Emil Cosello. And just on the screen, it says they're playing with 10 men. So I'm not even sure what really happened in this one for the red card. Then in the 47th minute, Ibrahim Bantz scores to make it 2-1. This is right after, this is 2 minutes after the start of the second half. Then in the 55th minute, Monarchs equalize. This is a lovely finish from outside the box. They were starting, people were trying to close down Davis at the top of the box, but they didn't get to him fast enough. But he was just kind of by himself up there until two players started trying to close him down a bit. And then Christopher Garcia gets a second yellow and a red card for the Monarchs. So both teams actually end up playing with 10 men at the finish, but none of them have enough to get a victory. So it finishes 2-2 there. So we'll see how both those teams continue to do. El Paso Locomotive versus New Mexico United. Let me just say I really like these teams. I really like El Paso's logo, their crest, and I really like New Mexico's kits in this one. New Mexico take a 1-0 lead. Great finish. Great ball, too. Devin Sandoval with a goal. He's got a great head of hair, too. 57 minutes in to give New Mexico the lead. And then in the 95th minute, actually, because of the stoppage time, 17-year-old Luna crosses in the box. It's headed back into the middle of the box, and then it is converted by Leandro Cajero to make it 1-1. And that was a pretty fun game. Devin Sandoval with a goal, like I said, and then you have Diego Luna, 17 years old. He created some chances. This one, doesn't get scored without Diego Luna out there crossing it in. Phoenix Rising 3, Oakland Roots 0. And I have to talk about the Roots kits as well, because I had a little bit of a problem with them. And I have a picture of it to show on here as well. But this one finished 3-0 Phoenix Rising. This is the Roots' first year in the USL Championship. I think this was their first game in the USL Championship. A bad giveaway by the Roots creates a chance with a shot at the edge of the box. It's saved, but then the follow-up is put in, and it's scored by Salomon Asante to give a 1-0 lead 10 minutes in. Then in the 48th minute, long ball over the top from the keeper. Good control by the player Santiago Moore. And it's a nutmeg through the keeper's legs. I think the keeper should have done better here, actually. Should have saved it. It was near his near post. Went through his legs. 2-0. 68th minute in, Salomon Asante scores again. Another bad giveaway from the keeper. So the keeper for the Roots not having a good game. What happened was like defenders Oakland's trying to play it out the back this whole game, and they failed at it. But the defender pushes it back to the keeper. The keeper takes his time and tries to pass it to another player, and he misses. Like he just passes it right to a Phoenix player who's able to convert, and that's Salomon Asante. And that finishes 3-0. And what I want to complain about here with the jersey is, so if you ever seen the Roots logo, it's like this almost like fractured glass look type of look. Almost, what is that like? I can't really explain it, but what I'm going to show you shows what I'm talking about. And that's how their numbers are. And that's fine probably on like a black kit or a plain white kit, but this kit is neither of those. And from far away, you cannot read the numbers. So I feel sorry for any commentators that have to like read the numbers or try to figure out who's who, because this is what it looks like. And on this picture, it's a little clear, right? Like you have this fractured look here, but the way that the jersey is with the black, white, and gray, when you see this in action, when you see this on the field and you're watching highlights or you're watching the game on ESPN Plus, it is very hard, if it's not a direct close-up, to figure out what number is which, because from far away, these numbers don't stand out because it looks like a bunch of colors with a bunch of color here. So it is very hard to see. This picture is not a great representation of it because you can tell it's a 0, but there was times where I'm trying to figure out who's who, and I'm like, I can't even see the number. Like you can't see the number all that well at all. And that's the problem with like black and white kits. When you have like black and white and gray kits or Newcastle style kits, you usually can't have the stripes at all on the back, because it's hard to read the number, or they try to do like this red lettering and stuff. I don't know. Oakland needs to figure it out though, because I'm sure the refs probably have a tough time with it. The announcers probably have a tough time with it. It's very hard to figure out who's who with it. It's good in the crest, but I think it's just a little too much to have on the numbers there. So that was all the Saturday games. Then on Sunday, we had LA Galaxy 2 versus Tacoma Defiance. Lots of chances and some great saves. Cleveland, the goalkeeper, played very well for Tacoma. But in the 78th minute, Jorge Hernandez scores a free kick. Cleveland tries to get it out, but he kind of hits it into the net, which is unfortunate for Stefan Cleveland after his stellar performance. But his team backs him up, and we get in the 90th minute a penalty by Abdoulaye Sissoko. And it is in the 94th minute, out of 4 minutes of stoppage time, where the ball is whipped into the box, hits the hand of the Galaxy player, and a penalty is called. And it is converted to finish the match 1-1, LA Galaxy versus Tacoma Defiance. So really, really good result there for Tacoma away from home. On Wednesday the 12th, we had Sacramento Republic over Las Vegas Lights FC. And that one was early goal for the Republic to give them a 1-0 lead. Great touch, great finish by Darius Formella. Then there's a penalty 51 minutes in. It's converted for Las Vegas through Danny Masovsky to make it 1-1. Then Tucker Bone in the 65th minute makes it 2-1. Sacramento scored the second one due to a shot from way outside the box as they see the keeper's off his line. He was way off his line. It's saved, but then the follow-up is finished. And then 3-1, they put him away with a great build-up and finish through Jamie Villarreal. All right, so then we can go ahead and talk Tacoma Defiance versus San Diego Loyal. That is a 3-1 victory for Tacoma Defiance. This was on Thursday the 13th. And we have 44 minutes in, Carlos Anguino scores to make it 1-0. Loyal had a lot of chances in the first half. Defiance convert their one chance with a great shot. This is outside the box, or right inside the box, to take a 1-0 lead late in the half. The Loyal equalize early in the half through Jack Metcalf, but in the 73rd minute, Tacoma take the lead to a great cross and first-time finish to make it 2-1 with Alec Diaz. And then Danny Robles in the 93rd minute, finishes the game. This is the third straight loss to start the season for San Diego Loyal, and makes you wonder, is Landon Donovan going to be under any pressure for this? I don't know how he is as a coach. We don't hear too much about how he is as a coach. But for me, not every player has to become a coach. Landon Donovan is my favorite soccer player of all time. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, they did pretty decent last year for a time, but 3 straight losses is not a good look here to start the season. And then on Saturday, we had, yesterday, we had Charleston Battery versus Charlotte Independence. This game finished 3-0 to Charlotte Independence. This was their first time beating Charleston. This is Charlotte's first time without beating Charleston in 5 years. Both teams hit the upper right corner on their first chance here and have the ball bounce down and away from goal, but Charlotte finishes their chance in the 12th minute by Marcelo Palomino on a follow-up to make it 1-0. Then in the 18th minute, Irvin Parra scores to make it 2. This is a penalty. Then there's a penalty in the Irvin Parra gets a penalty in the 49th minute. For me, it's not enough contact there, but they call it. 49th minute, converted by Parra to make it 3-0. And Charlotte get their first win over the Battery. This is at Charleston as well. So this is a pretty big result there. First win for them in 5 years against the Charleston Battery. Then we had the New York Red Bulls 2 versus Miami FC. Devin Williams scores 15 minutes in to give Miami a win. Rocket of a goal from Williams. And it's his first goal since returning to Miami, which was his first pro club. So, and that's how that game finishes, just 1-0. Then we had Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC versus Sporting Kansas City. This one was in Kansas City, and this one finishes 4-0 to Colorado Springs. And we're going to look at this here because this was a match, man. Colorado dominate this game, just dominate. They get 2 penalties as well. And Neglina and Barry were just threatening the whole match. They were all over the place. So you have, for 7 minutes in, Austin Dewing scores to make it 1-0. 29 minutes in, Haji Barry converts a penalty to make it 2-0. Miche Neglina scores a penalty in the 36th minute to make it 3-0. There's a red card then on SKC2. Matt Constant gets a red. Haji Barry finishes it in the 64th minute, assisted by Neglina. And that is how it finishes, 4-0. So they were just threatening the whole game. So they were already up 3-0 before the red card. So you can't even say, like, well, there was a red card. Like, it's kind of how it went. Then the last game that we're talking about here is the Monarchs. Real Monarchs versus LA Galaxy 2. This one finishes 2-0 to LA Galaxy 2. 24th minutes in, Kai Korniak scores to make it 1-0. And then there's a really great pass for the second goal here. Assisted by Jorge Hernandez, Preston Judd scores to make it 2-0 in the 44th minute. That's how the game finishes. LA Galaxy 2 dominate the match. is how it feels, I would say, because they had better chances than Monarchs. They create the same amount of shots, 10-10. LA Galaxy 2 just edged with 51% of the possession. But when we're looking at shots on target, they finished with 5 compared to Monarchs 4. But if you watch the highlight package for this, or if you watch the game, it really feels like LA Galaxy 2 had this thing, no problem, no struggle or anything. All right, so that wraps up the USL Championship for right now. We have some games that we're going to look forward to in a second, but as we look at the table currently, FC Tulsa in first with 3 wins. They play Atlanta United 2 next. This is on the Eastern Conference. Tulsa 9 points up. Tampa Bay Rowdies with 2 games played. They have 6 points, so they can kind of match that if they win their third. Hartford Athletic with 2 games played, 2 wins. They have 6 points. Then you have Miami FC with 3 games played, 2 wins, 1 loss. So they're at 6 points. Louisville City FC in 5th with 4 points. Then you got the Charlotte Independence with 3 points. The Atlanta United 2 with 3 points out of 2 games played. Indy 11 with 3 points out of 2 games played. Birmingham Legion have 1 point out of 2 games played. And then New York Red Bulls 2 have 3 games played, 1 point. OKC Energy, 3 games played, 1 point. Battery, 2 games played, 1 point. Sporting Kansas City 2, 3 games played, 1 point. Then you have Memphis 901, who still haven't played, 0 points. Loudoun United with 1 game played, 0 points. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, 1 game played, 0 points. On the West, LA Galaxy 2 have 7 points out of 4 games played. Then you have Phoenix Rising in second with 6 points out of 2 games played, so they're perfect right now. Sac Republic are perfect, 2-0 record, 6 points. Rio Grande Valley FC, perfect record, 2 games played, 6 points. Then you have San Antonio FC with 2 games played, 4 points. Tacoma Defiance, 2 games played, 4 points. Switchbacks, 2 games played, 3 points. They got that win against Sporting Kansas City 2. They have El Paso Locomotive with 1 point. New Mexico with 1 point. Monarchs with 1 point. Austin Bold, still no games yet, 0 points. Orange County SC, no games yet, 0 points. Oakland Roots, 1 game played, 0 points. San Diego Loyal, 3 games played, 0 points. And Las Vegas Lights, 2 games played, 0 points. Not the start you're looking for them there. If we look over at USL League 1, we have Greenville Triumph still at the top with 9 points. They've played 3 games. Union Omaha, they beat New England Revolution 2 the other day. I was watching that one on ESPN Plus, and they're in second place in USL League 1 with 9 points. Richmond Kickers in third with 6 points. Fort Lauderdale in fourth with 6 points. Chattanooga in fifth with 3 points. North Texas in sixth with 3 points. Then you have Tormenta in 7th, New England Revolution in 8th. They both have 3 points. Forward Madison with their first game of the year. They drew that one against Tucson, and that one finished 1-1, and they have 1 point. Tucson with 1 point as well. They've had 2 games played, though. Toronto FC 2 in 11th, and North Carolina FC in 12th. Looking at NISA, this is what I want to kind of talk about as well. They do not have good highlight packages on YouTube. I could not locate it. On their main channel, the last update is, it looks like highlights from the NISA Legends Cup. And before that, from months ago. So I'm not sure where their league highlights are, but I would very much like them. And that's kind of the issue is, like, we talk about, a lot of people talk about promotion and relegation and how it's a must to grow soccer in the U.S. I don't think that's the case. And if you look at things like, we don't have the infrastructure for it. Luckily, the USL games are all on ESPN Plus. You can find highlight packages of them, etc. But if you add like NISA in here and you can't find highlights of your team, people are not going to watch the team. And there's this different culture here than in England. England has this culture of going to the game. You go to the game, you go to your local team, etc. I feel like here in the U.S. we have this culture of watching the games, right? Like, I'm a diehard Orioles fan. I go to maybe 1 to 3 games a year. But I'm watching the game every day on TV. I'm, listening to it on the radio when I'm in the car. Ravens, when I go to football, I haven't been to a football game in years. Almost 10 years. But I watch every Sunday when the Ravens are playing. It's this different culture here of you watch the game on TV. If you can go to the game, you go to the game. And when we look at like teams like Bobcats in NISA, they're far away from me. It's almost faster for me to go to a Union game up in Philly than it is for me to go to a Bobcats game. And if you can watch the game on TV, that's cool. But if I miss it and I want to find highlights, that's kind of an issue so far. So, if you want to grow the game, you got to make sure you have it on here. Maryland Bobcats, by the way, lose on last Saturday. They lost to Stumptown AC. 24 minutes in, Alex McGrath scores for Stumptown. There's a red card for Bobcats. Then there is a goal in the 66th minute for Travis Ward. And then a penalty for the Bobcats to pull one back in the 74th minute, converted by Bonjo. Then Chattanooga beat Michigan Stars 2-1. 64th minute in, Stratasugi, if I said that right, for the Stars, give them the lead. But then Cameron Woodfin scores in the 80th minute to equalize. Marcus Nagelstad makes it 2-1 in the 90th minute. Then there's also a red card for Chattanooga as well, but they get the points. LA Force beat Stumptown AC on Wednesday. Christian Chaney scores in the 11th minute for that. Detroit City FC beat the Cal United Strikers 3-0. Pato Faz in the 18 minutes. Connor Roots for the 44th minute. And Maxi Rodriguez in the 68th minute. So this is Stumptown AC played again on Friday, and they win 1-0. Alex McGrath over New Amsterdam. Today for the NISA games, Maryland Bobcats versus LA Force at 7:30. San Diego 1904 FC versus Detroit City FC. Then on Sunday, Cal United Strikers versus Michigan Stars. It's only 3 games this weekend, and not every team plays, so it's kind of hard to figure out how that's working. And then they play again on Saturday for some of these teams. Detroit City FC are in first with 9 points. Stumptown in second with 6. Chattanooga in third with 3. And then you have Bobcats, 2 games, 0 points. New Amsterdam in ninth with 0 points. And you have a bunch of teams in the middle, like Michigan Stars, San Diego, LA Force, Cal United, all with 3 points. But some of these teams have only played 1 game. Some of these teams have played 3. Some of these games have played 2. So it's very uneven, like all the other lower leagues right now in this country. So let's go ahead and look ahead at the USL schedule for this weekend. Today, Saturday, 4:30, Birmingham Legion versus Memphis 901. Then Hartford Athletic versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds at 7 o'clock. Tampa Bay Rowdies at 8 o'clock versus Phoenix Rising FC. New Mexico United at 9:30 against Austin Bolts. That's Austin's first game. Memphis 901's first game take place today. On Sunday, Tacoma Defiance at 3 o'clock against Orange County SC for Orange County's first game. OKC Energy FC versus Atlanta United 2 at 6 o'clock. Rio Grande Valley FC at 8:30 against San Antonio FC. Then on Tuesday, Loudoun United with only their second match of the season against New York Red Bulls 2. Wednesday, Atlanta United 2 versus FC Tulsa, who are on a tear. That's at 7:30 on Wednesday. LA Galaxy 2 versus Sporting Kansas City 2. That is at 10:30 on Wednesday. Then on Friday, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC at 9 o'clock against New Mexico United. Real Monarchs SLC versus Austin Bold at 9 o'clock. lots of good games this weekend. If you include those with the MLS games that are this weekend, we got a lot of stuff to watch, a lot of good soccer. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the games this weekend. If you have any thoughts on stuff I can add, I'm open to ideas, and I hope that this episode was smoother overall. But thank you, everybody, for watching. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Stateside Show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/Stateside Show. Email us, statesideshow@gmail.com, with any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. And we will catch you all next Saturday morning for another look at the closed pyramid.